Welcome to the February 5th bhyve production user call. We have Andrew, Jan, Roman, Hazem, Edmast, and myself, Michael, and I have a public service announcement. Please go through the various bugs and PRs and issues you've reported over the years. There are a great many stale ones. I've taken a look at bhyve and jail and OpenZFS, and some are a decade old. Some are perhaps even ready to start driving or drinking, depending on your country. So I personally have been looking at new hardware, the CIX Cortex A720, and revisiting the Honeycomb LX2, which is a rather peppy board in a nice side-by-side twin configuration. And with the help of one developer, it seems that wow, the CIX chip is like writing to random memory in the process of booting a VM. So I gave the crash reporting as best I could, and I'm very happy to test other stuff. But if you do a search on bhyve in the bug tracker, you'll see that same I think it's Marius's various assertion failed bugs are there. I've emailed him saying, hey, is that still a thing? Some of these are very fresh as of like maybe yesterday for a Windows SQL server inside Linux on a bhyve VM. Wow, that's a interesting combination. And someone just simply has so far asked, well, could you elaborate on that? Uh, there are a whole bunch of these assertion failed ones. I don't know if they're still valid after all of the for the Sovereign Tech Fund or Michael's organization running through and auditing, but there are like half dozen like that. And let's see what else. So I totally get it that not every developer has, say, a new six board in hand or an Ampere or a Honeycomb. So it does take some coordination between people to just actually test fixes and such. So, Ed, thank you for any and all help that you and yours can provide. I've given SSH over WireGuard access to this machine to Roman and Hazem to work on libvirt and Sylve respectively. And so, hey, let's all do what we can. This one came up just recently about running Windows in a VM, but it looks like it's a new hardware feature on HPZ hardware where the NX flag has to be on or off. So it was not quite a bhyve problem, but there is a workaround. So I've got the link there, and I think it's no longer listed as open. And while we're talking about PRs, I remember there's something about Ubuntu having a clock issue where there was an easy fix. And Jan, you might remember this one. I did a search through the previous notes and couldn't quite find it, but this is from 2023, updated recently. Uh, does anyone remember this one?
Vaguely.
Vaguely, yeah. And so Jason Tubner kindly tried a recent version, said, well, it
I
seems to work. Go
vaguely remember
ahead.
discussion about it, but not specifics.
Okay, no worries. So that said, any other comments, questions, ideas on bug triage relating to both bhyve and other components? Cool. Roman, you mentioned a question on suspend resume status. What have you tried and what can you tell us?
Yeah, well, my news are not really good because I think the latest version that works for me is 14.3. So this is the last version that works for suspend resume. And coming on from there, 15 has some issues, current has some different issues. So I'm trying to update from time to time and test new things in this PR, and you can see that there are quite a few issues. But basically, at this point, it feels like starting from 15.0, it doesn't really work, at least in the configurations that I'm trying to use.
Is it still disabled in the build by default?
Yes, it is
Okay.
disabled by
So a
default.
user has to enable that and then go from there. Uh,
Yeah, and probably that's a part of the issue because people don't really test this stuff, I guess.
So that said, does it mention 14? Everything works great. Thank you for mentioning 14.3. Goodness. Do we know if we have an owner of this code insofar as there have been many discussions over the years? UPB did some. I know there were many discussions about what should the layout of a file look like that describes the machine state. There was disagreement there. Uh, is anyone driving this at this point? That's a thorough report. Thank you. Uh, I'll make a note here. Worked on 14.3px, various patch levels. Uh, is that something you might want to bisect and try to locate that moment of failure in the source, or is that beyond your current resources?
I can probably try to bisect, but the problem is that I do not have ZFS on my test box, and
Yeah.
and I cannot use boot environments, so it will take some time to convert the box to use ZFS.
Would it help if I put a machine online for you? Or
Um,
does it panic the host and the host would need a frequent rebooting that you might need out of band management for?
but the issue, I guess, that we need to update the host constantly.
I see. Yep. Well, boot environments are your friend, but I hear you.
Or you need a KVM, a QEMU VM with nested virtualization enabled.
This is true. Well, let's
Yeah,
think about
but
if you have the
if
resources, the time resources to work on it, and I can coordinate some hardware resources. How about that?
okay.
So yeah, it's one of those big want features, but there have been challenges getting there. So let's talk boot order while you've got the floor.
There is nothing new here except that recent ADK2 update, but it doesn't seem to affect the issue.
Okay. Is it a question of using a UEFI vars file or not?
It is related, yes.
Okay. Is that not working as expected when you specify a variables file that hopefully takes care of this?
So in my
So,
understanding, we do have the boot index argument for various devices like disk devices, and we have the NV vars file where we store the configuration, but it seems like that currently the boot index has no effect.
Interesting. Copy that. Looks like Corbin was looking at it, and Manu had some changes, and that's a good nearly 2 years ago. Okay, pardon me, I'm going to scroll way down just see where we left off on this. It's been quite the discussion. Okay.
maybe a stupid question, but have you tried setting the FWCFG type? I think you can switch between bhyve and QEMU. Maybe the EDK2 code doesn't know about bhyve's firmware configuration file format. So if you set the ROM file argument to FWCFG equals QEMU, maybe that unbreaks it.
Yeah, I have tried that and also posted that in the PR.
Okay, so that's where Corbin said it would be in. Do you know if it actually made it in? He says he's promising a fix upstream, but perhaps that just didn't happen. Oh, when it's merged upstream, oh, here's the pull request. Okay, we can track that down as a group. Um, So I'll do another search for FWCFG. Nope. So Corbin's comment and Hmm. Okay, so that's from September. You've indeed tried it as QEMU and perhaps it's not supported upstream. Or perhaps it was lost in Alexei's recent update of EDK2, maybe?
I'm not really sure that this is so tightly related, but I have tried the old version of ADK2 and also the current one, and it also doesn't solve the issue. It
Both are
didn't
a
work
problem.
with
That's
Sylve.
good to know. Patch there, maybe, or I open it. No. Okay. Not working on previous and current EDK2. So if someone's in the mood, I say they chase down and see if this made it into upstream. This 2 years ago. Goodness, okay.
Check which version the port contains, go
Yeah,
to the release tag in GitHub, and then do a search.
bingo. So
But yeah, it's annoying.
hopefully that, actually, I'm gonna grab that. So in quotation marks, yeah, should be there. Should be there. Let's check. Okay, I can't check it right now, but if someone's in the mood, please do. This came across the Fediverse feed of a patch, maybe it was in Ramadan, uh, a patch for single USB pass-through, but upon closer inspection, it was a little concerning that it says, hey, I'm off to my obligatory service and can't work on this right now. There is the broader question of what does FreeBSD development look like when people basically hit a wall and either their skill set limit or availability limit or otherwise and want to hand over a 90% complete project to someone else, maybe 80%. So this was from when? August. So USB pass-through has been a hot topic on smaller devices. You generally don't have the luxury of having a PCI card to pass through. BZ is interested in this. Last minor fixes. So active development in August. It's on Mark J's radar. Renamed it. Great. Actual attention to detail. Love it. But let's see where this ends up. Well, there's some code. Great work, but sounding like Benedict on BSD Now here. Information request, dumping. That's in fact, sorry about background noise. Thank you for working on this. Lots of excitement. Can we get to the bottom of this? So where do we end up? Come on, review. I have tested this. Thank you, BZ. Licensing was correctly detected. I received notice of conscription for 4-month obligatory military service. When was that? That was in November. Okay, well, maybe they will surface in the coming months, but the excitement is there, and I hope this stays on everyone's collective radar because that's a feature that has been often requested, and I don't know how complicated it would be to support, say, multiple devices, but that remains to be seen. Uh, Welcome, Hazem. We are just kind of Roman, is that you commenting? I will log Hazem here. Oh, edit, add it. Perfect. Yes, yeah, you're there. It's there. So, Roman, you're finding that the boot order EDK2 fix is in Tiana Core, but is not working for whatever reason. Is that a good summary?
Yeah, appears to be so.
Interesting. Got it. Okay. All sorts of little things in motion and kind of frustratingly not quite there. This came up as an auto installer. It's a link from the week. And also there's this Vermiden discovering package base and minimal installation. So that's an ongoing discussion. Ontrinig hasn't made it to give an update on his pinning update, which is a rather cool patch to simplify CPU pinning. Let's jump in here and push those down. So, what was it related to that? Oh, Ed, I took some time in this course of bug fixing to realize the installer, BSD install and BSD config are still very oriented to a fresh installation, but people are finding that, well, jail's not compatible with auto, and it sure doesn't help you with uh, setting up a jail or virtual machine in a rather production way, or a P9FS mount or an NFS mount, and all the various things, but it still is a canonical way to install FreeBSD and do all the proper housekeeping. So I added an entry on the Foundation's idea list describing kind of the scope of that. And uh, Gumnose Chase discovered that, wow, if you have like Geli mounted uh, file systems, disks and file systems, that the installer says, hey, let's export all pools, remove all that, and go on. But hey, it's a running system. We're trying to aim it at a different destination. So maybe as BSD installs getting attention for, say, package-based support, which does work in jail, bless its heart, maybe that momentum could carry on to just a few more features. Just saying. And that was also inspired by a PR I found in the process. Hazem, could you give us an update on Sylve? And if you want to do a demo, I'm all for it.
Yeah, sure.
Do you have a demo?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll stop the share
just
and work on the notes.
was it visible?
Looks great.
Yeah. So we got rid of tmux and smart name tools dependencies,
You're a bit
which
quiet.
is kind of cool.
Do you have a,
Hello,
yeah, you're a bit
is it
muffled
better now?
somehow. Oh, your screen
Actually,
looks
let
great,
me
but your
just connect.
audio is a bit.
Let me connect to different headphones. One second.
While you do that, I will grab things from chat.
Hello.
Yes.
1 second.
Yeah, definitely better. Appreciated.
Hello, hello.
Yes. And
Is
Ed,
it
to your
better
point.
now?
Yes, much, much, much.
Yeah. Okay. So what was I saying? Uh, Oh yeah, so we got rid of our final two dependencies, which were tmux and smart moon tools for a base installation of Sylve. So now smart works with something that you suggested, right? With smart 8 util. It's kind of cool, and we get all the values that we want, and I'm very happy with this. because it's much faster as well because I can interface with it directly using C Go, which is really cool. And yeah, the shell now works um, without like tmux,
Do
so
you
it
want to share your
directly
screen for
connects to it.
that?
Am I not sharing?
It when you reconnected, it dropped.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
No, no worries. And so Smart from Chuck is still in ports. Are you just bringing it in as a port dependency?
Oh no, I'm not. I actually just rendered in the C code into
Oh, no
Sylve.
kidding. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
so that felt much easier to do because it's not as big as I thought it was, and I
Funny
don't
that.
think it will change much either. And I don't want to disturb them too much with feature requests and bug reports and things like that.
Okay. Well, truth be
So
told, we hope to get it in base, but we just have been putting that off. And somehow 15 last minute it came up, but just didn't happen. So uh, note that it may hit base once you've kind of exercised a perfect use case for it. How about that? Continue.
yeah, that's completely fine. And since I can pull in changes because I didn't change much of his code. Most of it is the same. I
Nice.
just made like a nice little wrapper around it in Go, so I can interface with it easier.
Great.
So that's that. And so these were the values I was talking about earlier. So whatever we get from that little, C lib, we just show that here. And some of the things that I really wanted was, like manufacture date and things like that, which we get thankfully. So that's that. And yeah, and about the shell, like
Yes, do tell.
we replaced tmux with something, kind of like I would say homegrown. Like it's just opening a tty now instead of and then managing that on its own instead of having tmux do that for us, because we ran into these weird edge cases where we were trying to do RBAC and people can exit tmux's shell and kind of mess around with the host, and that is not fun. So now it's kind of sandbox to uh, this shell alone. So we were thinking about maybe assigning VMs or jails to users, and they can only see that in the UI. So now it's pretty clean in that regard. So
Can
that's
you run
that.
tmux
And
inside of this? Because tmux and tmux was offering problems. So
oh
maybe you
yeah,
solved that
you can.
along for free of charge. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. This
Great.
is this works great. Yeah, and that's that. And yeah, so that's pretty much it in this regard. And I really wanted to like figure out a way to get good enough debug reports or debug data for like Windows issues in particular, because we have a lot of customers who unfortunately have to run Windows 2025 and like Windows 11 for some reason, even though I don't think it's allowed. Like they run weird software on it, but
Hmm.
we kind of support that. And when it works great. Like before, I had an issue where it would just not start, and now it's kind of like it does start, but it really doesn't work really well. For instance, like I'm starting this up right now, and yeah, now since it crashed so many times, it's kind of going to that process where it tries to fix itself. But yeah, it's not a fun time with this. Um, I did some reading with um
Your share stopped.
the code base, and again, it's so weird.
Yeah, something strange. Hello, Pat.
Hey Dex, good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Is it up again?
Yes, it's showing. And we've got
Yeah,
the EDK2 boot.
yeah, that's kind of cool. So everything is just slow with Windows, as far as I can see. And I wanted to know like I searched for it a lot as well, like what kind of bug reports I can generate to kind of make a PR, because it just seems like I know I'm stuck and I don't know what to tell to any of the maintainers either. Like I can't just go and tell them like okay, it's broken, like doesn't sound nice. So Yeah,
Yeah, good luck with that.
that's
And this could be courtesy of a recent Microsoft update that caused a whole lot of unhappiness.
yeah, and I used to do crazy stuff on KVM, like pass through GPU devices on multiple like machines and
Hmm.
use them, suspend one and then remove it, use it other places, and it's kind of frustrating as well because I can't do that here. But yeah, I feel like when more people start to use this, we get more and more bug reports. It will probably get better as time goes on. That's another thing. So yeah.
Can you narrow this to one version of Windows, or was it Windows to Go was
Any
treating you well and other things?
Windows 10 was fine-ish. I wouldn't call it a great experience, but I would say it was okay. Pass-through was kind of finicky, but uh, it was a usable experience where it doesn't crash, where it doesn't get stuck every now and then. But Windows 11 and onwards, and Windows Server 2025 as well. And the funny thing is that Windows Server, at least, do not, as far as I can see, require a TPM device for some reason.
Server,
Um,
right?
yeah, Windows Server, yeah.
Okay.
So that's even more, even less of uh, surface area for bugs to come through.
Hmm.
I thought initially thought that the TPM would be the issue because um, that was the only difference between Windows 10 and Windows 11 for me running on bhyve at least. But then I kind of figured that okay, Windows Server 2025, like it doesn't require a TPM and it still has the same kind of issue. So and it could be that I heard I remember if this is right, but I heard that Windows is now running like a hypervisor, and that hypervisor is running Windows. Could that be the issue? Like multiple interrupts, bubble up and then like a storm.
Oh,
I
goodness.
Um,
don't know.
these features where the original Windows versions run certain parts, I think the 32-bit stuff and so on in a hypervisor, are just not available in bhyve because, yeah, FreeBSD bhyve does not support nested virtualization. So Windows will see the Intel or AMD virtualization features as not implemented.
Hmm. Okay,
Just not
so
try to use a hypervisor
uh-huh.
unless we broke that.
Yeah, see now this is a state where I like constantly get into like now I don't know if it's stuck or if it's moving, but it's just unresponsive like this. Sometimes I feel like it moves like a percent or something like that, in like a few hours. But yeah, and sometimes I mean, when I use this one vCPU, this is the funny thing. Like when I use one vCPU, I get to use it for some amount of time. Um, yeah, but eventually it also kind of breaks down because at some point you're going to use a lot of, especially with Windows, blow through that one CPU really, really quickly. So, and I've tried pretty much every topology that you could think of, like multiple sockets, multiple cores, multiple threads, maybe one thread, many cores, all those kinds of combinations and stuff. And I don't think that is it. It is something else, maybe. So I'm all ears for suggestions if you guys have any, but yeah.
Yeah, detracing Windows sounds like a terrifying notion, but
Fun
maybe it
time.
can be done. Yeah. Related, I swear I recently saw something about uh, FreeBSD under the Windows compatibility. Let's see if I can find that. It's not quite an answer to what you're after, but you mentioned the nesting of sort of institutionalized virtualization. So it's like, okay, what might give us another view of that? And actually, you could maybe test from inside there. But yeah. Yeah, WSL Weasel is the Windows Linux support, but someone had some patches to do FreeBSD. Not quite what you're after, but potentially useful. Any advice to Hazem in diagnosing those Windows issues? And your share dropped, but if that was the demo, awesome. So that said, you mentioned February being documentation month. Is that on track and can we help in any way?
Yeah, it is documentation month, and we have been working on like a new what is it called? A landing page, among other
Okay.
things. And we found some things like quality of life improvements that we could make, especially around times where people kind of mess up the networking config and um, don't get access to the GUI anymore. So
Oh, interesting.
we included in like a console mode where people could use the CLI or their KVM instance to manipulate the configs, which I thought was cool. Yeah.
So to avoid becoming a release engineer and shipping Sylve OS, have you thought about how to get people from basically zero off the ground with FreeBSD to Sylve without becoming a FreeBSD administrator to an excessive degree?
Yeah, package install.
Package
Yeah,
install.
John
Okay.
mentioned it in the chat. Yeah, package install. Yeah, that's it.
Got it. And then
And
what? Go ahead.
sorry, yeah. So
Okay.
Dave gave me a lot of tips and tricks on how we can make both my life and the user's life simpler. And I'm keeping all that in mind when it comes to code dev. So yeah. So as soon as the documentation, I think like we're pretty stable-ish now. We don't have that many users, but I have some production users who run very weird things. So I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, I think once the documentation is done, we'll be able to send it pretty well.
And Dave is helping out with the port.
Oh yeah, he was.
Great.
I hope he still would
No,
because it's
I'm
been a
sure he
while.
will. Do you have a checklist of what's missing, and is there anything that others outside your efforts need to clean up?
I think my front end guys are helping me with at least the English documentation.
Okay.
So internationalization there would be pretty cool, and we are writing a guide on how you can help translate
Ah,
because
fantastic.
yeah, so that because it's really simple even now. So I just want people to be able to just jump in.
How many strings
So,
are you talking? A few
oh, for the
dozen, few
documentation, it's a
hundred?
lot. It's probably a lot. It's
What
probably
about the
like
GUI?
10x what
Oh,
we have for self. And for GUI, I think it's around 1400 now. Last
so
I checked.
is that with like profiles and all that? Some
Oh yeah,
flashbacks
it's just
here.
one profile per language. Yeah.
Got it. Entries in profiles per language. Great. Uh,
And the thing is, I had some contributors on GitHub, but I felt like they were kind of cheating with sending it with AI or things
yeah,
like
just
that.
throw it in there exactly and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, synonyms
So,
are
and
a
I had to get some
nightmare.
friends and then, kind of proofread them. And one of the contributions I got last week was for like Czech or something.
Uh-huh.
And then I got like a friend who knows how to read that, and he was like, "Okay, this is AI slop. Like, don't do it."
Be clear about
So
that. On the translation page, especially if you have like a nifty web-based translator, just say, please no AI slop. Just don't waste everyone's time. I'll make a note here.
yeah,
No AI slop. please.
No, I don't mind people using AI, like especially like even
Oh,
me at times, like
check your work.
for example, when I wanted to like learn like how like internals of BI work, it's not really like feasible for me to sit like few hours a day to you know sit and read through every commit or every line of code.
Hmm.
Generalization is really great with AI for me at least, or LLMs. I don't really like calling them AI, but LLMs in that regard is really helpful for me. But
Hmm.
other than that, I wouldn't use it for writing, especially documentation, because I feel like documentation is where you kind of have to put your thoughts into it, see how people are using it, and adjust in that way. So yeah.
Cool. Are there any clear ways the rest of us can help your efforts? Because you've clearly gotten everyone's attention. You've clearly been very responsive. You've been a delight to work with, and hopefully you can make it to perhaps EuroBSDCon, be it remotely or directly. That would be cool. Um,
Actually, there is this locales directly in our repo. If anybody wants to contribute, there are a few examples there as well.
oh, do you have a link to that?
Some, yes, I do.
If it's a thing, have a link for it.
Yep, there we go.
Cool. Oh, the
So
locales, fantastic. Yes, great. I'll put that in the doc. And to state the
the
obvious,
simplified
that's
Chinese
where,
was done by somebody else. Like so I think that was the first contribution, which was pretty cool.
yeah, and that's where anyone can help, and they need not be a computer kernel hypervisor expert. It's just like, hey, trust your instincts, be careful, and I found it, the WSL link. So you so far have, and to state the obvious, you think that the GUI is stable enough to go down this road with confidence.
Oh yeah,
Great.
it's pretty hard to break it at this point. Like you would have to try really hard.
Okay.
Um, but yeah,
So I recall you having Hindi. So
yeah.
you've got, what do you have so far? HI for
Um,
Hindi?
yeah, HI for Hindi
Okay.
and MAL for Malayalam, which is my mother tongue. So I
Okay.
kind of wrote both of them. uh, and then we have Chinese that was simplified Chinese that was contributed by I forget the
Great.
person's name. Yeah, they don't have a name. It's just a username. So yeah, and that I was able to get it proofread with the help of a friend of mine, and
Great.
it is the real deal, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Uh, are you trying to follow the language of VMware or Proxmox where, I'm sure there are different ways to describe storage or node or device or blah, 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 blah.
I'm just going with the vibe, to be honest. Like, I really like how VMware calls all kinds of bridges and all those stuff switches because it just makes sense to me.
Exactly. Okay,
Um,
so
yeah,
loosely VMware inspired would be a way of putting it.
yeah, at least terminology wise. But
Cool.
UI and everything, I'm like very into Proxmox because they're very what do you say, angular in that regard. Yeah, I really like that. And the
Well,
Germans are
great.
after all, so you know.
Fantastic. Well, let us know how we can all help. That's great. Do you still need the Ampere machine or is ARM waiting on Roman? Actually, question to you
Um,
both.
I Yeah, I actually tested jails and it worked great, and I'm very happy with it. And I have a few production users who run jails on Hetzner's ARM64 cloud instances, and they're very happy with it. And that too, they're running ZFS, which is kind of weird because it's already a cloud disk, and on top of it, they're running ZFS, and it's
Right.
been fine mostly. So I think ARM is good for jails, but like VMM or bhyve, I'm not sure.
So will ARM64 be supported in the first release?
I mean, it's there. Like if you install U-boot, the what's that thing called? The bootloader stuff, it'll work if your hardware supports it. So
Okay.
I mean, libvirt has to support it. So if libvirt, kind of says no, like we don't have an option. So yeah,
And so then
I
you've
did
got
put in the plumbing though. So whenever support rolls in, like it'll just work like magic.
hallelujah. Roman, do you still need the Ampere machine for libvirt work?
I guess probably for a few more weeks.
Great. Okay. So I know the Ghost BSD folks are also looking for resource, but that thing is so darn fast. It's like, hey, it's a mainframe. And to just so that the world knows, the build option survey took 11 hours rather than like 5 days. That's workflow changing. That's awesome. Anyway, cool. Thank you. Any questions for Hazem? And if it's not been said, keep up the good work. Especially the fact that you're exercising things like Chuck's Smart that I proposed and he implemented and you're leveraging. Love it. Great. That was the entire vision from day one on that. So I did find the WSL for FreeBSD link. This has been updated in the last 3 months. And yeah, I don't want to focus too much on newness and oldness, but we've got to keep this whole train moving forward. I don't know if Hazem in your ecosystem with Windows users, this could be useful, but there is the plumbing in Windows. It's been at times 9PFS. It's at times been other means of talking to a VM or a binary compatibility layer, whatever. And current status. FreeBSD boots inside of WSL2, basic functionality, roadmap, boot support. So to be determined license. Okay, so MIT so far. That is a thing. There could be very good use cases for that because I sure like having real Unix text processing tools alone just to make sense of things. Pat, do you have any topics, questions, ideas, concerns?
No, just hanging out.
Just hanging out. I will file these. I think some of them are, Roman, your points on getting that rock quartz board to work. Thank you for that. Entrenig has not rolled in. He's got some nifty news there. Memory. He's been doing some great work on determining the configuration of bhyve, say at start time, kind of like dmessage.boot, because, well, how did we get here? And yes, it may change, and over time it may change with new things like hot pluggability. However, he noticed that the bhyve config is in memory and then it gets dumped once the boot takes place, such that, hey, we'd kind of like to keep that around. So he's working on that. Emil's been giving for IOFS status, I believe as a FreeBSD guest, but hey, that's in motion. There is a fuse locking issue. Don't know if that plays into also WSL, but hey, got to exercise all these components or else they won't make it across the finish line. So, putting on my Benedict Reuschling hat there. So other ideas, questions, concerns, things to work on, long-term goals. It's a new year. I really want to get those PRs under control, especially if they're just distractions for things that no longer apply, and just do more to discourage people than to move the dial forward. Mixing my metaphors here.
So, Dex, I did have
Yes.
something actually,
Yes,
which is
please.
so I apologize in advance. I'm going to be giving you minimal information here, but I can follow up in the future,
No
which
worries.
is that I was launching a bhyve using 9PFS for the root file system. and it launches fine. It does networking, all that stuff, but it seems to have issues with processes that fork. So, for example, so I was using it to run to build the FreeBSD source, and if I do make build world, it's fine. If I do make build world J anything, including J-1, it crashes.
Does
Make
one fork, even if it's one
Um,
parallel?
And so I'm curious if that rings a bell for anybody, and I'll see if I can provide. This is kind of off the cuff for me. I'll see if I can provide better info
I,
in the future, but curious if anybody knows anything about that.
Yes, Jan.
I think there are two possible problem cases here. One is that it's not forking, which caused the problems, but forking and then dropping privileges. Um, Basically, the fuzzy matching logic to match from V nodes to 9p handles can get stuff wrong.
Yeah,
And the other problem, which may be what you're seeing, is that the FIFO use, if it's a named FIFO, which makes uses for the concurrency control, so that you have the job limit even apply to submakes and so on. It could be that the FIFO doesn't really work, so maybe you just have to mount a slash whatever, either temp or a run as a temp FS or something,
okay,
and check that again.
That's actually a good point on TempFS for
that's a good
builds to
idea.
also not thrash your SSD, etc., or just raw performance. So
It
yeah.
wouldn't be the FIFO buffer would never be written to disk. So
Hmm.
Cool. I will give that a shot, and then at a future one of these, I'll come back with more actionable intel.
but yeah, 9PFS is problematic for such corner cases. I wouldn't recommend using it as root file system if you can avoid
Okay.
it.
It's like NFS, not a file system.
NFS has different issues, but
Different issues,
using
but yeah,
NFS
same.
may actually be a better tested use case because 9PFS is special in a lot of not so good ways
Uh,
because it's a stateful protocol used by a stateless virtual file system layer in the kernel. So there's a mismatch between the protocol and the API the kernel needs. So then inside the guest driver for 9PFS is the glue logic to kind of have a hash of handles, so the state, and then match the vnode the basically VFS operation to the right handle. Yeah, it's not ideal.
Yeah, I wonder if so that's interesting about it just not being good for roots. So I was using it. I'm using it kind of in two ways. One is to replace NFS, right? Because I want a machine that
oh,
can build the
okay.
source, and so I can edit it. I'm doing that with NFS, works fine. But also so that I can, like, rather than building a VM image, I can, I was hoping that I could just install from my dev machine to a directory and boot from that directory in 9PFS rather than like, building an
Yeah,
image and all that sort of stuff. So maybe that part's not good, but worth trying 9PFS for the
so
file sharing for the
technically
source code
you
maybe.
can do that. But again, it is with the limitation that 9PFS has annoying corner cases,
Hmm.
which are not properly documented and all figured out, because some of them are consequence of this is a bit different, and suddenly something doesn't behave like normally, and then 3 layers up the stack, something fails, right? What would be easier is to use a jail for the building. Basically run make release in a jail and then make the VM image you create that way available to bhyve and boot the VM image. So the
Yeah.
FreeBSD
I mean,
make files can create a VM image, you create that, you boot it, everything works.
Yeah, I've got creating bhyve images no problem. It was more that from what I saw, what I was hoping is that I could install directly to a directory and boot from there. And so then it's not even like not making an image file, not all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
Just here's the directory, boot from there, there's your root. So
I
I was
mean,
hoping to go for.
you really wanted to, you could sort of root an NFS mount that way too, but yeah, just export the installation directory, the NFS to your guest. But again, it's not going to behave the same way as a normal file system. 9PFS is a bit closer to the normal POSIX file system than NFS is. The real solution would be something like vidIOFS instead of vidIO9P, but we don't have that yet.
On Emil. So that said, note how that's very similar to a boot environment, and I've proposed just blurring those to the extent we can, and that's full circle to the whole notion of BSD install being a little more aware of uh, where it's aiming stuff and doing the proper housekeeping for a system as simple as, I don't know, resolve.conf and little niceties. Patrick, how's your VM Beehive patch coming? I know that crossed various desks in the last 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, it's been merged.
Oh, great.
And DCH. I don't know if this piece has been merged, but one of the there's a very small constraint in the patch on VM Beehive, which is that the image has to have VirtIO P9FS load in loader conf.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And DCH has a revision up in Fabricator that detects when you're booting from P9FS and automatically loads it so that you don't have to have it, which is kind of nice,
Oh,
right?
that would
That
be great.
you can then
Yes.
have an image that doesn't
Like
have to have any kind of
dev
loader
matchy
configuration.
stuff or
Let me see.
something. Yeah, if you got the review, I'm all
I should
ears.
be able to find that pretty quick.
Great. Yes. No,
I'll drop it in
that's
Slack.
exactly the kind of issues you hit, and they're not complicated. That's the whole point. It's not like kernel optimization. It's just like, hey, yo, I'm going to use this thing, and if you can detect for it, fantastic.
Gentlemen, I need to head out.
Yeah, take care, Andrew. Have a great weekend.
Talk to you next week.
Absolutely. So we've not had a whole lot of DCH lately. Is he a busy boy taking a
He's a
break?
very busy boy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Mhm. So while you're looking that up, any other topics to discuss? Uh, Broad question, Ed, how can we help you? We have ideas how you can help this technology.
It's in the chat decks.
Thank you. Perfect. Yes. Love it. And if people don't use it, it doesn't get fixed or regressions don't get caught. And I'm kind of drowning in that per tradition. And I'm like, okay, everyone, please stay on top of these things because they're never just done forever. Thank you for that review. But let's take a look. And while the call for participation for BSDCan has closed, the foundation has opened their participation call for the Dev Summit. Putting some words in your mouth, Ed. You want to elaborate? Go for it. Okay. Auto load if it requires it. Oh, yes, please. Yes, please.
So when can prospective speakers know if their talks have been accepted or not?
Those answers should be out. Did you, one, submit and two, not receive an answer?
It's still stuck at submitted in the system.
Oh, all righty then. Uh, Let's see. Not that I'm changing hats here. He says it's stuck. Do you have a number for that? It's like each one.
180.
Thank you.
I could just drop the link. For
Uh,
some reason, it
oh,
is another number here, but you want displayed within.
cool. Thank you. Oh, I see a 174 here. Cool. Okay.
Exactly why I
Not to
said that
change.
it's conflicting between the URL and what's displayed once you have it open.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Sorry to digress. Okay, so going through this review, that was January 19th. Oh, you've got all sorts of folks looking at it. Good. I like that. There we go. So Pat, does this look like you have a workable path forward?
I mean, that's a question for DCH.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have no problem with him playing adult in the room. Cool. Let me make some context here. Auto load. Are we going with P9FS or 9PFS? I've kind of heard them both over the years.
So the doc, I see both everywhere. I
Oh,
think
jeez, yeah.
I think in the man page it says P9PFS. No, yeah, the docs is I see them both, man.
You see them both? Okay. And I might be to blame for some of that. I don't know if it's dyslexia or
Uh,
what, but okay.
because I mean, this is interesting, right? Okay, here's the bugs. A better reason, so this is from the man page. A better name for this file system would be 9PFS, but for technical reasons, the names of file systems must be valid C identifiers. As a compromise, the file system is named P9FS.
Oh, interesting. Well, do you have the link to that? Because that is a nice anchor spot here.
It's
Yeah,
in
it's
the bhyve main
Was that-
page,
P9FS4.
right?
Oh,
I can find that. It's just P9FS section 4 bugs.
section 4 bugs. I lost a T there. Buffs. Okay. Interesting. Thank you for that explanation because I've been in the same boat trying to wondering. It's like I don't know or care. I just want to get it consistent enough.
Well, you find out when you see when you're reading stuff about 9PFS, and then you make a variable called 9PFS, and then shell says no.
Got it. Shell. So P9FS. That's a great explanation. Thank you. I've been sitting here wondering.
I dropped the
Beautiful.
link to
Yep,
the source.
I see it. Beautiful. Excellent. Well, we've covered some good ground and great work, Hazem and Roman. That's very exciting because, hey, that's literally breakthrough efforts. Oh, stuff happened. Oh, it clicked the link for me. No, I didn't. I'm just trying to select it in chat. Anything else, or shall we wrap it up for the week? And again, if you've joined late, please review any and all issues you've reported over the years and make sure they're still valid, because I guarantee about 10% of the reported issues at least are probably not valid for various reasons, hopefully resolution. Bugs, a better name. That's great. I'm so happy that's in there. It's hilarious. And where did it put that tab? It put it way over there. Going once, going twice. Jan, you'll know what I mean if I say, would you like the honors? And I can stick around
Like
a
and
few minutes.
subscribe.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Beautiful. Thanks for that link. I'll call it at 6 after 6. Okay. Have a great one, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. See ya.